Welcome in to Sportsify. I'm your host, Matt Novak. Alongside me, as always, Grant Hawker.
Always, ladies and gentlemen, always, except for last week. But
Grant, you might as well just explain to everybody what you're doing because I genuinely have no idea. Guys, I just show up here and we record a podcast and I don't know what this guy is doing.
ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to take a moment before we talk about football. Just have a moment of silence for the Houston Astros AL West division hopes. If we can just take a moment. Nah, screw that. The Astros suck, bro. They're so trash. In the most important series of their season, the Astros come in with the same win-loss record as the Mariners. 5-5. The season tiebreaker is on the lines. You come in tied. Everything hinges on this series. You take 2 out of 3, and you are in the driver's seat for the division. And the Astros couldn't even win one. Oh, you come out throwing your best pitcher, and your best pitcher gives up 4 home runs, and he loses. They hit 4 home runs off your best pitcher, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll go to our next one. I just have to win the next 2. Win the next 2. That's it. And the Mariners were dominating. In this game, Cal Raleigh hits the Mariners home run leading. Home run to clinch it, to secure himself as the greatest Mariners season we've ever seen, the greatest catching season we have ever seen. And it happened in your ballpark. Mariners history happened in your ballpark in front of your fans who came out here, paid their hard-earned money to come out and watch the most important series of all time. And Cal Raleigh makes history. Thank you, Astros. You'll always be a part of that. But you guys keep fighting. You threaten in the bottom of the 9th until Victor Robles puts on his Superman cape and flies from the side of my screen to double you guys up, secure a catch, and on an embarrassing running mistake, double you up, and you lose that game in crushing fashion. But that's okay. Hey, we lost 2 out of 3. Maybe we'll come out here and we're going to win. We're going to win one of these games to try and keep the hopes alive. Nope. By the second inning, the Mariners put up a 7-spot, a JP grand slam, a Cal Raleigh homer yet again, make that 58. He's only 4 behind Aaron Judge for the all-time AL record. Only 4 behind with 6 games left. He's probably not going to make it, but that's okay because he's going to win MVP over Judge. Book it right now. The most important position in all of the sport, plays every single day, and he is going to hit 60 bombs this year. You don't see that. Catchers aren't supposed to do that. You play catcher for your defense and your pitching staff, to control the pitching staff. That is why you're a great catcher. Not hitting 60 bombs, but Cal Raleigh's going to do it anyway. He also throws out the most runners, so he's the greatest catcher season we've ever seen. What a pitiful showing for the Houston Astros. Your own social media team knew it. And they, before the season is over, threw out a thank you fans appreciation post. Before your season is over, they say, just a little shout out to the best fans in the league. Before the season's over, your social media team knows it's over before you do. And again, you do it in front of a packed house. And that's what's beautiful about this. That's what makes it so much better. You may think, Grant, that's a little callous of you to say that. These are fans. They're spending their hard-earned money to be a part of this and to show up on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's just, it's important, right? It's about the sport and the family. No, crush them. These fans are the worst. I hate your fan base. It's the worst. I hate this team more than I hate any team in the NFL, more than the Niners, more than the Rams. I hate this team more because your fans cheer when your pitchers hit batters. You do it all the time. You're cheaters. You play in a Mickey Mouse ballpark. That World Series doesn't count, bro. No one counts it except for you. So go ahead and count it. But you bang on trash cans. You are trash. You're cheaters. You embrace it. You embrace this villain arc. And so I'm happy that your fans got to experience nothing, no wins, that your souls got crushed out of you. And I'm dressed up to the 9 for your downfall. I'm feasting, except not really, because I'm still wearing jeans right here, just the top. I couldn't even give you the time of day to fall in a full suit, dude. You're the worst fans ever. Your team sucks. They're terrible. Mickey Mouse ballpark. Those Crawford boxes are a joke. And the Mariners treated you exactly how they should have, as a stepping stone to something better. Because let's face it, right now this team is built for a deep playoff run. By the way, they have by Fangraphs, which again, it's just predictions. It's all it is. They have the highest playoff odds to win the World Series at 21% right now. They have the best pitching staff potentially in the league. I think so. And they have the best lineup, biggest, most depth in the AL. Probably not in the NL, but you don't have to worry about the NL till you get there. Then you just got to win 4 games. That's it. This Mariners team, I'm feeling good. They broke the drought a few years ago. They haven't been back since, but I'm going to say it right now. That moment when the Cal hit that home run and sent their team into the playoffs was great. And I was happy, one of the happiest moments of my life as a sports fan. But this is the most proud I have ever been as a Mariners fan. This is the slaying of the giant. And I love baseball. And so, guys, get ready. Baseball is coming. It's going to be here sooner than you think. By the time you watch this episode, some stuff is already going to have been decided. By the time next week hits around, playoffs will be here. And I'm going to tell you, baseball playoffs, aside from football, to me, is the best. Baseball playoffs are awesome. Yeah. The thing I love about baseball is that it all builds to a moment. It's about one single moment. Football's more of a wrestling match. It's a tug of war. It's back and forth. It's constant for the most part. Now, the best football games are the ones that you remember that moment for sure. But with baseball, there is no clock to bail you out. You have to go and get 27 outs and you have to score the runs and get that hit, get the strikeout. I love baseball. I'm so excited for what it is. And the fact that the Astros are weeping. They're not even in playoffs right now as we're recording this. So what's the view from the outside looking in? Built for what? Built for crapping your pants when it matters most. So I invite you to eat my shorts. I'm glad to be back. That's it.
That's a heck of a way to start an episode.
Football.
Let's
go.
So much football. By the way, I'm going to correct you on one thing you said. Just one.
Yeah.
Because I happen to know the answer to this. Carlos Narvaez is actually throwing out the most batters in the MLB this year.
Oh, right now?
Yeah, because he plays for the Red Sox, so I know that.
Gotcha. Cal Raleigh has been leading most of the year.
It's fair.
And he's led the last 3 years. But yes, I'll give you that.
Dude, I'm definitely nervous as a Red Sox fan coming in last week, but you guys did us a solid favor, by the way.
Yeah.
Because that helped out. There's a little separation right now. Bunch of teams vying for that last couple spots, I should say, in the wild card. Currently, it's the Yankees, Red Sox, I think the Tigers. And Red Sox have their doomsday coming the next few days in the series with them. No, I'm a little worried. Not having Roman Anthony for the Red Sox is a big deal.
Yeah.
He was our leadoff batter, and consistency has been key there with him, batting over 300 since June.
By the way, you and I both saw his first career home run, by the way.
We did see that together.
Yeah.
Father's Day in Seattle when the Red Sox beat the Mariners.
Like 1-0, 2-0, something like that?
Yeah. Or it was the day after Father's Day, right?
Yeah.
My bad. But no, I'm a little worried. I was genuinely excited that you guys won all those games. The Robles play, by the way, I watched that about 6-7 times. I was like,
the call
awesome.
Is perfect. Like everything. It was perfect. I was crapping my pants on that one, watching that one.
Yeah, and like as a Red Sox fan, I get to watch an amazing center fielder every night in Rafaela, who's just a human highlight reel at the position for sure. And that was as good as pretty much any catch he's made this year. I would say that home run that he robbed a couple weeks ago was pretty dope, going over the fence. But I'd put that play to secure a win, probably the best play of the year.
Absolutely. It's probably the greatest defensive play in Mariners history. It's definitely one of them. It's one of them.
Ken Griffey,
I said it's one of them.
Over the wall in the Kingdom.
It's one of them because also this secures a chance for them to win the division for the first time in 25 years. It's the most important series the Mariners have had in 25 years. They have not won a division then. So to me, like some of the context matters for sure.
Big stinking deal. It is enough to get you to wear your wedding suit. I know that this is. I happen to know for certain that this is the suit that Grant or one. Do you have 2 suits?
I didn't. This is not my. This is the one I officiate suits in. It's not my actual wedding suit.
Yeah, not the one you wore in your own wedding. I know that, but the one you do weddings in. We, as we are both also ministers of the gospel, not just podcast hosts, believe it or not. We definitely have our wedding attire because you and I are pretty similar in how we structure ourselves for special events and occasions and the types of things that we would wear anyway.
Yeah.
And we're not big suit wearing humans.
I also don't slick my hair back ever.
I've never seen you. I don't even know if I've seen you with your hair wet outside of like an ocean or a pool.
No, but I was like, you know what? This is just for the look, man.
Never.
This is for the look. I'm going for the used car salesman look right now.
Yeah, this relationship's going on close to a decade, and I think this is this is like time number 6. I've seen Grant with wet hair.
Word. Let's go.
Okay, we need to talk about football.
Football!
We're like 15 minutes in almost, and we haven't talked about football. There was a lot that happened in week 3. There's a ton to get to. You and I both had very exciting Sundays. Mine was a little more down than yours for obvious reasons that we'll talk about in a moment. I'm wearing a certain guy's jersey right now. I got the number on the shoulder, but whoops, my bad. Wearing that jersey for a reason, mostly in honor. I'm not going to wear it again this year. I decided tonight would be the last time I wear it for 2025.
Bit of a, a little, almost like a last hurrah for the season. You put it away.
Nick Bosa is done for the year. ACL got announced today.
Yeah.
Not good for football. We never celebrate injuries except for Perfect. Big fan of that guy getting hurt. That was fun.
That's about it, though. But he's a special case, special player.
Wouldn't be happy, or wouldn't not be happy, wouldn't be sad if
like,
I saw Ndamukong Suh stub his toe real bad.
Yeah.
A few other guys that get a name like that. But
it's those guys, it's because those are the guys that send these guys like to hospitals and stuff like that. And so it's like,
in this one,
enjoy it.
Just a football play. No, nobody did anything bad, but football play, and that game claimed 2 really good football players yesterday.
Yeah.
Put them out for the year. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But yeah, I was definitely sad about Bosa. But we got some highlights to hit. In the middle of all these games yesterday, we got our group text going, and we're all thinking the exact same thing about week 3 of the 2025 NFL season. Because before the morning games were over, we're West Coasters, so we call them morning games. Before the morning games were over, special teams came to the front of the NFL and reared its head. The NFL has been trying to make special teams, I'm going to use a word I don't use a lot, sexier. They have genuinely been trying to make it sexier the last couple of years. Those plays that we used to just, I'm going to go start making a sandwich.
Because usually the kick, it's a fair catch, commercial break. Go to the bathroom, go do whatever.
For a long time, unless you were watching a guy like Josh Cribbs or you're watching Devin Hester return, maybe a certain wide receiver from Philly for a long time, return a punt, like you were just meh. You're taking special teams plays off. Unless it was the end of a game and it was crunch time. You were taking special teams plays off. The NFL has done everything they can to make the kickoff entertaining, to make it possible to block field goals, as well as, I will give it to special teams coordinator, made it really interesting when you watch now the punt formation and the way that they design those, because dudes are getting closer more often than they ever have to blocking those things.
Yeah.
Yesterday, one team did fall victim to a block punt. But in all, we're sitting there watching these morning games going, this is bananas.
Yeah.
Because there was so much crazy special teams play. Yesterday, the best starting field position ever in the history of the NFL came to be for offenses because of the new design of NFL kickoffs. There were teams starting closer to the 50 than ever, only needing to average between 15 and 17 yards to be in decent field goal range. Often, teams were starting in close to the 40-yard line more often than I personally feel that they should. Part of the thing I love about the NFL is that good teams really earn the field position and do a great job at it.
Yeah.
The NFL does seem to be catering to whoever's going to be receiving any kickoff and make it possible for what happened yesterday. Grant, talk about the kicking game. Tell them, just how much this impacted all of the games yesterday.
Oh, okay. So the first thing I'll say is this is by far, this was the most exciting week that we've had so far. Granted, there's only 2 other options. Get that. We're not even a quarter of the way through. But a part of that is 7 of 14 games were decided in the final 3 minutes this week. That is tied. The NFL announced that is actually tied for the most such games in a single week since the merger in 1970. And by the way, there's potential for that record to be broken. We're recording on Monday tonight, so we are watching this Ravens-Lions game. The Lions are up by 4 points with 9 minutes to go currently. So we may see record here. Now, it's not some crazy record, but it's still interesting and exciting. But 3 of those 7 games, so half the games so far that you've seen, were decided on special teams. 3 of them. And one of them probably broke the hearts of one of our favorite people on this podcast. And
He will be joining us in a little bit.
he'll be joining us a little bit, but the Eagles blocked the Rams field goal attempt. Jordan Davis blocks and returns a 61-yard touchdown. The Eagles win 33-26 in that game. I'll be honest, I'm not the guy that like tries to say, "Oh, I called it," but dude, I was not feeling confident. I was watching that game. I think most of us were watching that game. That was the one that was on the local channels as we're getting ready to watch our games that were starting at 1 our time. But that was the one that was on, Eagles Rams. It's fireworks. These are 2 teams like that we're very high on in the NFC this year. And so it was definitely one to look out for. And I was definitely concerned because Jordan Davis blocked another field goal in this game in the 3rd quarter. So they'd already proven they could get to him. And when we talk about blocking field goals, like making it easier, we're seeing blocks like all the time now. I feel like way more than ever, which in some ways you hate it when it happens to your team. Obviously, you hate that, but it also, to me, it makes it feel more exciting. And as the word you would say, it's a little sexier because it feels like your teams now more have a chance to maybe mix things up and get that stop, get that blocked field goal. So many times lately, they go down to the 30-yard line, they kick a field goal, end a game. You're just like, all right, you're heartbroken about it. But I think adding that wrinkle, making it a little easier, definitely is exciting coming down to it. But that was the first one. The second one was a Jets pass rusher, Will McDonald, blocked a 43-yard field goal attempt by the Buccaneers. He turned that into a 50-yard touchdown.
Best celebration of the week.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Aaron Glenn
coach
is running down the sideline, going crazy. And they did
Have you seen all the memes of like the song, like set to songs?
Oh, yeah. I've seen all those. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, the 70 Discos tracks were my favorite by far.
Yeah. So they block it with like under 2 minutes to go, and Jets are feeling good, maybe get their first win. But we said it last week, and I know we're talking more about special teams, but Baker Mayfield, what a dude.
Ooh, buddy. That guy, nobody plays better with a chip on that shoulder than that guy.
And I'll tell you, at this point, it's forever there.
Yeah.
He
looks for reasons to hate people. He's been on enough teams in the NFL. If he's playing against the Rams, the Browns, the Panthers, like he's got these X teams that he can just be like, you know what? These people didn't see the potential in me, and I'm going to destroy them. Because he took it out on Steve Wilkes, who cut him when he was a Panther.
Yeah,
he booted him off the team, didn't see the potential in Baker, and Steve Wilkes is now D coordinator for Aaron Glenn up in New York. And that was, he said, it's all personal. It's all personal. And dude, for him to just come back, by the way, I had the Bucks this week in my survivor pool.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah,
I got real nervous.
Oh, I'm sure.
Until I found out that Baker Mayfield had 2 minutes left with the ball in his hand. Because that dude's making a name for himself.
Is it because Tom Brady stepped foot in that building and won a Super Bowl?
Yes. Handed it off to this guy. He's like, listen, I did it. Now it's your turn.
I'm leaving some like pixie dust in my locker for you, so you can now be clutch. I can't find the stat. I'm trying to find it, but I believe that he actually has the most like regular season wins since joining the Bucks, or like most. Oh gosh, I forget the stat is.
Oh yeah, no, he has the best record as starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Outside. No, it's not. Hold on.
It's probably. Gosh, I'm trying to find it. I can't find the way to find it. Like it's the right question to ask.
No, that's not. Yeah, I'm not saying it right. I just saw that stat. What was it?
Or maybe. No. He has the most touchdowns and yards.
Yes.
Yeah. He has the most touchdowns and yards since joining the Bucks over Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. It's freaking Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
Like elite.
Woo.
Is that not when you're above guys like who we consider elite? Is he not? But dude.
That's hard to argue against, dude. We brought up when we talked about Lamar last year, and even in our preview episode for his division this year, we talked about that touchdown interception ratio that Lamar had last year. In the elite level that is. Nobody had ever done 10-1. Nobody had ever done it. That ratio. And I know Baker's not on that. He's going to throw some picks because
he's a gunslinger.
He is that style. Not that he has a ton of bad tape or anything. Yeah. But he does produce 2 to 3 touchdowns regularly. And I think he does that clearly as often or more often than anybody else in the league. Lamar, though, will have those like killer games where he's just dropping like, how many times has he had 4? I bet you he's got several games with 4 over the last 4 years. But then he'll also just go a week or two where he's like, meh, I threw 1. I ran for 1. Who cares? Derrick Henry's on my team.
But again, too, what he's doing is that's not back-to-back fourth quarter comeback wins. Go ahead touchdowns to score or points, not necessarily touchdowns. But anyway, with that, Baker puts the Bucs on his back yet again, 2 weeks in a row, leads them on a 7-play, 48-yard drive to set up a 36-yard field goal, wins them that game. Again, holding off the Jets from getting their first win. But the shocker one is against a team that we've been very high on, and Matt, you were specifically last year. The Cleveland Browns stunned the Packers.
That was bad. That does not make any of my takes that I had last week look real good. But as Micah Parsons said in the presser post, and for everybody that didn't watch this game, the Packers were up 10-0.
Yeah,
10-0 with 5 minutes to go in this game. That defense had done its job, stalled out 100%. Joe Flacco, inept passing game, couldn't run the ball. Then all of a sudden, Judkins is like,
I'll play. Wait, and it ended with 94 yards.
It was
touchdown?
the drive was but he took off for a really long run. It was around midfield. It ends up scoring on that. That was beautiful run. Yeah. And then like minutes later, the Packers offense, to their credit, had moved into field goal position. They're going to kick a field goal, and all of a sudden the Browns were like, no, and block that thing.
Yeah,
they're in position to move forward here, and it's already 10-0 or 10-10 at that point, and to go ahead and make the game-winning field goal from 55 yards out. A lot of people were talking about the Niners-Cardinals game that we're going to get to a little bit, because the Niners were not tied when they went to go kick. They were down 2, and for some reason that made big headlines, them coming from behind. But this was a big – that's a 55-yard kick.
Yeah, dude.
At the end of the game to win it. Browns special teams showed up and won this game.
Well,
period.
And their defense, dude. We just talked about the guy that was on this team. Could you imagine Baker Mayfield on this team right now? Super Bowl contender.
They're missing some wide receivers, but yeah, sure.
Good, but this defense is like so good. This defense is so stinking good.
It's so good. We talked about that last week. Their defensive line, like, it was a shame watching their defensive line just demolish the Bengals, and then Joe Burrow, God rest his toe, has to escape death on every single snap. But it was a shame to watch that out of the gate. But genuinely, what happened shouldn't have happened. It's just bad football. It's supposed to be the most basic part of the game, is block them, keep their arms down so that they can't block these kicks. Yeah. And for whatever reason, in week 3 of the 2025 season, we had 4 different times the field goals get blocked, this one being the biggest one for sure.
Yeah.
And still I think our opinions probably not changed, maybe as slightly. I think the Packers are still for sure the best team in the NFC. And I say that with all due respect to Eagles. I still think the Packers are better than the Eagles right now. That is what I believe.
The Eagles did come alive in the second half for sure. And did answer some questions.
I thought the Rams were winning that game.
But 100% I did. Yeah.
Through 3 quarters, I thought they were winning the game.
Yeah, 100%.
But no, I think that if we're going to pull power rankings, we don't do that garbage here. But if we were to compare the Bills versus the Packers, sounds real good for the Super Bowl right now. If you were just picking 2 teams, that feels like a great matchup. I would love that game. And I am rooting for the Bills all day in that game, because I want them to win a Super Bowl so bad. If you can't be my Niners, I'm Bills all the way.
I think I'm with Jameson. I'm more of a Ravens guy. I want Lamar to get his. That's what I'm.
That's
Derrick
cute.
Henry.
I want football history. Love Josh Allen. You know, that guy keeps me in it every week in fantasy, because for some reason everybody lets me draft him in all these leagues.
By the way, I'm so bummed I couldn't be here last week to rub a little bit in your face.
Revel in my Josh Allen fluke.
Yeah,
the one game he decided to take off all year, the
against
inconvenience of him taking it off against Grant.
Gonna be 3-0 in the A-League. Just saying, first year in 3-0.
I'm gonna be 2-1. I benefited from CD.
Oh
yeah, we'll get to injuries in a little bit, but
yeah,
benefited from that. But no, it was so impressive to watch all of these special teams play this weekend. It really was. Like, I loved everything about it, and loved it. I don't know why, but I think it's cool. Like, some people are not into this. I side with other very popular podcasts that I think it's actually awesome watching a walk-off kick. I have no issue with that. And there are a lot of people that don't like kicking being that big of a part of the game. But I know what leads up to it. As a 49er fan, I watch my quarterback take the team down the field, hobbling on one leg, get there, and put him in position to kick a 36-yarder. The plays that led up to the Browns, the Njoku catch over the middle that led up to the Browns being able to kick a 55-yarder. That was a great catch and throw by Flacco and Njoku. That was awesome. I love the things that add up to those big moments.
Well, and then, yeah, you get that, and you get like those missed field goals that come back later. That you miss those crucial 3 points, and guess what? You lose by 3 points.
Or you miss at the end of the game. Like that moment, we've all experienced as football fans. When our team is on defense, and that kick goes up, and we're watching it go towards the right or the left, and we're going, ah! Well, and then it just misses, and you just celebrate like crazy. And
to me, that's more.
I
celebrate more on that than I do than just like getting a stop on 4th down.
Yes, like, I laugh more on that's for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
because like I said earlier, like usually those are usually a given for the most part. Like
percentage-wise, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they're making them a great majority of the time. Although I got to say, this weekend, we talk about factory and special teams. As amazing as it was, 18 missed kicks this weekend, including, hilariously, I'm going to forget his name now, the guy that just replaced Young Ho down in Atlanta.
Falcons. Oh, I don't remember his name, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was bad.
Honestly, it didn't really matter to
By the way, he's missed
game.
more kicks this year than Young Ho has.
Yeah, I wonder are they going to try and go back to him, knock on his door, want to get back together?
We're sorry. I didn't mean to break up with you. I don't know what I was thinking. She was flirting with me, and
he looked really hot.
I don't know. I'm going through a lot right now.
Yeah, and they are, and we'll mention that a little later.
No, but that was pretty bad. 18 missed kicks. Fortunate my team didn't miss one. Did your team miss one?
I don't honestly. I stopped paying attention after this. Like I really did. It didn't matter if they did or didn't. They were up by 30 points at going in halftime.
I was going to say 30-point win will do that to you. Seahawks decimated the Saints. I don't know that we need to say much about your game, by the way.
No, the only thing that I'll say is that Byron Murphy seems to be coming to life. 2.5 sacks through 3 games. It usually takes defensive tackles takes a year or so for them to really show up, and so I'm excited about that. And Sam Darnold's playing real good. I'm liking that more than Gino right now. Yeah. But it's also because they went to address the offensive line. But no, I had this game on as like the background noise while I was doing stuff, prepping for Sunday.
Yeah, I know what you had to do.
So it was background noise because I didn't care because they were just slaughtering them.
Sure.
Like throwing on The Office or a sitcom when you're just tuning your brain off.
By the way, David Montgomery broke a 72-yard run tonight in this game. It's 31-24 with 4.5 left.
Yeah.
Looks like currently the Lions have the ball too. Oh, no, they just punted. No. And in Baltimore, okay, my ESPN's catching up. So it's Baltimore's got the ball in their own 32 with 5 minutes left. They got all their timeouts, so they're definitely punting this away. There it goes. Now Detroit's got it back on the 30, so we'll see what happens. We'll keep following that. But, David Montgomery with a big run in that game.
Praise the Lord, I'm playing against Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs has 2 touchdowns, so.
He does, but I'm still going to win.
You're okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that. That game's affecting a lot of us. A lot of people high value on the Detroit offense with or without Ben Johnson just because of the players in question, i.e. Jahmyr Gibbs. If you got Montgomery, I did not. I avoided Montgomery, not knowing how they'd use the 2-back system with a new coordinator.
No,
but, man, if you've been sub-playing Jared Goff based on matchups, you've been feeling pretty good about that, having another good night tonight.
Yeah. But let's get into the bad. Let's talk about it.
Okay, fine.
I know you don't want to.
I don't really want to. Because we got to talk about injuries.
Again this week, injuries continuing to pile up. I can probably use the same thumbnail from last week if you pay attention to the show.
We just call this
I'll just change the
2.
players.
Yeah.
I'll just change the players.
We already mentioned Bosa coming out with the ACL. Yeah. That was a bummer. Dude, by the way, that guy is superhuman. He was on the sideline doing high knees trying to test it out.
Yeah.
He tore his ACL and was still doing high knees going, it's a little uncomfortable.
But yeah, dude, when he walked off, and I'm sure everybody's seen it, the thumbs down thing, which I did think was weird. Like,
he knew.
I know he knew. Usually you don't see that. You just see head down, they just walk out. So that was pretty obvious. I know at first Kyle Shanahan was like, they're hopeful they avoided an ACL. But to me, I go, yeah, when he's giving thumbs down to people in the crowd, yeah, dude, like that's. If it's not ACL, it's something else that's just as bad.
He's not doing it, but hey man, you might want to sell your season tickets.
Yeah, just
you might want to whatever you were wanting to do in December, if you were thinking an island for Christmas, you might want to
Just
go
do
do
it.
that.
Do the big vacation.
No,
Yeah.
I got some thoughts on how that might not be the case in a moment. But yeah, that was a bummer. And we just love good football. And
Yeah.
Nick Bosa playing football is good for the NFL. It's good for fans. It's fun to
Not
watch. Even
wasn't
if
good for
he's
the
not,
Seahawks that week 1 for sure.
yeah.
He made his presence felt in that one.
Yeah, but it was good for football. It was good
Yeah.
for football.
Makes it exciting.
No, so I was bummed about that one. Also some season enders. I'll go back to one that's not a season ender at a moment. Najee Harris we saw go down with us in the ACL as well.
Actually, sorry, that was an Achilles. I wrote ACL.
Sorry,
that was
Achilles. Yep, we typed that out wrong. That's
yeah.
but
Dude,
yeah.
every time the like calf and leg just reverberate like that's always what it is. And at this point too, like that's the new ACL. The Achilles is the new ACL, where medicine has gone a long ways. The ACL is not a career ender like it used to be, but the Achilles, we said it like last week with Austin Eckler, like 80% at best.
I will say though, Najee was already not fast. And the thing with the Achilles is it takes away your top end speed.
Yeah.
Najee just became a 1-year guy at best when he comes back from it. I hope he comes back. Don't get me wrong.
He's
I wish
still
no
young.
evil,
He's still young.
But he came off his rookie deal. So what is he, like 27?
Yeah. It's not like Eckler, who's 31. Like it's a little different.
Which we called that one out already. But the Achilles is still a monster. It's a lot to come back from. Skill position has a really hard time coming back from it. We've seen defensive players come back from it, linemen come back from it. Even there's a quarterback playing in Pittsburgh that did come back from it at an advanced age at that. So it's possible, but for a running back who's got a tilt, left, right, make the quick cut, don't love it. It's going to be hard. All the best to him in recovery, but also one that I think broke a lot of hearts because he seems to be a genuinely great dude. He's already struggled, beaten cancer. He's
has like a career vitalization in Arizona.
And it was tough. Bosa goes out in the first quarter. James Conner goes out in the second half for Arizona. That was bad. Yeah. Like, it was genuinely hard to watch. That ankle went the wrong way, dude. Both teams
ankle
taking
ones,
a knee out on the field. It was ugly.
Ankle ones like that, dude, where the foot's pointing in a different direction. Ugh. Those to me are like the worst to watch. Those are usually what they are anyway.
Yep.
The worst, but I hate that stuff.
It was genuinely gross. And then I'll get to one more and talk about something really quick before we welcome in our third mic here in just a moment. CeeDee Lamb also getting injured. Cowboys just making me look real good. I had some real strong opinions last week about the Cowboys and what was coming. 31
This
points
is not
to the Bears.
This is not us gloating about an injury. This is gloating about the Cowboys.
No. This is 100%. He got hurt in the game. That's all that matters. He got hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. He got hurt. The Cowboys suck. That has nothing to do with him getting hurt. They just suck a little bit more when he's not playing. But the Cowboys suck, period. Yeah. 31 to what it was 31-14, correct?
Oh, we'll get to it a little bit later.
Dude, forget those guys. But for CeeDee, we're looking at it now. It depends on severity of that sprain.
It is high ankle, so those can linger. Like, even when you come back, those are usually like they linger all season. Like, even when you're back.
He felt great when he still had his adrenaline in his body. He was telling us he was going to play against Green Bay this week.
At minimum 2.
Yeah.
It does seem like it's not as severe as that. Can be an IR stint, 100%.
Oh, sure. It
so
for sure can and it has been for a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of receivers over the years. But the timetable is a minimum 2 weeks, probably a maximum of 8. He's probably going to be closer to the minimum, just from all indications. Fantasy owners, don't panic. That's why you drafted that extra wide receiver. Don't go blow up your roster on this one. And by the way, if he's still available, go get Trey Tucker. Holy cow. Just go get him. Sure. Return yards are a big stinking deal right now, especially if you're in those Yahoo or Sleeper standards and you're getting 25 return yards to a point. If you're starting like Debo or Trey Tucker, Horton from Seattle has been fantastic, obviously, was on Sunday scoring the touchdown. Dude, go get one of those guys. But Trey Tucker is available in over 40% of leagues across fantasy football. Go snag him up. That would not be a bad call at all if he's available. I know in deeper leagues that might be a problem. But here's my thing about this, Grant, with 2 injuries. Okay, first I'm going to go to James Conner. There are a couple of horrible teams in the NFL that are going to have to make some hard decisions. And these teams seem to have already made the decisions I'm going to mention as possible replacements for two of these guys. James Conner, replacement. Okay. I think that there is a running back that is clearly not going to re-sign for the New York Jets. I think Breece Hall makes a ton of sense. If you're the Jets and your season's done and you like Braylon Allen anyway, as much as everybody thinks you do, why not go get some draft capital, ship him out for a fourth rounder, whatever?
You might be able, you'll probably get more than that even.
Sure, go get a fourth and a sixth, fourth and a fifth. I think you could do that, or a third and a fifth.
You might get a third and a fifth. That's probably what I was thinking.
That's probably your high end. You're not getting a second rounder for a running back in the NFL, especially one that's not under contract currently. He'd have to re-sign, I think, as a condition of the draft pick. But if you're the Cardinals and Benson gets you through the next couple of weeks, and let's just say you're 4-1, you're 5-2, and you're getting close to a trade deadline, why not make the move before somebody else does?
I still think that this doesn't move the needle a whole lot, in my opinion, on the Cardinals, but they're definitely a better team. Like
absolutely,
definitely a much better team.
And for Arizona, making the playoffs is the win. Like if they can 100%. Just get there, and if you stay as healthy as you can outside of this James Conner injury, Calais Campbell, by the way, playing holy crud ball. All three of his sacks, he's had one per game in the first 3 weeks. In the last, I believe, 5 minutes of each fourth quarter he's been playing in.
He just turned 39, by the way.
Monster. Yeah,
crazy
dude. Like I was still drinking out of a bottle when that guy was born. Like legitimately, that's amazing what he's doing. But no, if you're still healthy enough and you've piled up enough wins, we still believe that Arizona's fool's gold. But I love that fit.
I do
You're
too.
Gonna go get somebody. That's a guy who should move. And honestly, if I'm the Jets, there's no way I make it through the rest of the season without shipping out Breece Hall. Because he's not re-signing. He has felt unwanted. He's been through like 4 quarterbacks. This guy was there pre-Aaron Rodgers drama. He's still being loyal and keeping his mouth shut post it while he's dealing with probably a rotation of quarterbacks throughout this year.
That too, and when you're playing for a pitiful team like that, you want to go to a team that's better. And I think it's just better. But like when you see the worst of the worst, like a Jets, you think of a team like that would love to have them. Even the Bengals. I think of some of those other teams that might, if Joe Burrow comes back and they're in it too. But I do love the Cardinals fit quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's a great fit. Also, I'll mention one from my Niners. I saw this floating around right away, and it makes so much sense because I believe that there is a team in the NFL who right now has a winning record, but is headed towards the dumpster fire, especially if you watch their game this weekend. I like Hendrickson to the Niners leaving Cincinnati. Trey coming over makes a lot of sense. He is also not re-signing. The Niners can take on the rest of that contract for the year, no problem. They can pay him his game checks. They have right now the capital and are under the cap plenty to absorb that. So I think that the trade deadline factors in massively to both of those things. Where are these teams at in the coming weeks? Niners still have a really deep defensive line. Did play well for the rest of that game, even without Bosa. I will say the pressure was not there until the last 2 drives that Arizona had. It clearly lacked in the second and third quarter. Saleh made some good adjustments, yada, yada, blah. But genuinely, that could be a really good fit if the Bengals do end up a dumpster. That makes a lot of sense. There's other guys still available that are out there, and there will be more because there are some unexpected teams sitting with losing records that don't look good, and we're going to get to it right now. So that's the bad for this week, but we got a lot to diagnose. To do that, though, we're going to welcome in our third mic and bring in Jamison to get into those games. Welcome in to our good buddy Jamison on the third mic, joining us for the next segment. We're going to get into our other games, but I wanted to share this story for the podcast because it's the first time ever that it's happened. Outside of our circles, okay, people that do not know us, I was walking through a grocery store in the community that I live in, and some dude randomly walked up to me, and he goes, "Are you the podcast guy?" And I was like, I had to honestly think about it for half a beat. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I do a podcast." And he's, "Yeah, the sports one." And I was like, "Yeah, Sportsify." And he goes, "Yeah." He's like, "I watch your guys' stuff." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "You're Matt?" And I was like, yeah, I'm Matt. And he goes, yeah, I watch all the reels. I watch them all the time. I go through it. So hi to the nice guy that I met at the store. You are a fan of the show number one that we have run into in public.
We'll send you a
We
postcard.
appreciate the love. Grant, you, by the way, you owe us a little update on numbers, man, when you get them.
Oh, yeah.
We've had our best month ever.
For sure.
Here in our first month of with the previews and our first 3 weeks. This has been phenomenal. So we appreciate for sure all the viewership and everybody hanging out. I know those numbers were pretty stinking solid for us, and we appreciate even the feedback, even when you're all wrong. It's fine. We don't mind.
We love it.
And
there's something to chat about.
Yep. I love the people that have watched and been like, dude, how can you say the Cowboys aren't even going to make the playoffs? It was pretty easy.
We watch football.
Yeah.
That's how we can make that decision.
Your best player plays in Green Bay now, and that's why. Yeah, and good luck this Sunday, by the way. Not good luck. Geez. I hope the worst for you. I can't wait for him to demolish Dak 6 times. It's going to be great. But we were going to get into some lesser games. I'm having way too much fun with that. A genuine question, boys. What is more surprising right now? Because there's been 2 massive surprises, I think. One on the really positive end, one on the negative end. The Colts at 3-0 or the Texans at 0-3? What's the bigger surprise?
You want to go first, Grant?
Yeah, you go.
Right, I'll go. Okay. Honestly, it's got to be the Colts for me. And I had the Texans being like a pretty good team. I had them winning the division. I had them in the playoffs. I thought maybe this would be a year where they correct some of the mistakes from last season, where they just hung around and were very stagnant on offense in particular. But I really was like, if anything, we have a defense here, so I like that, and you can ride the back of that defense. But this Colts team, granted, when you look at who they've played without that Broncos game and how that Broncos game ended, I thought the Colts had the chance of being like the worst team in the NFL. This was, are you going to get the first pick in the draft this year?
Another Manning in Indianapolis?
I know. I was like, oh, are we going to go for the Manning storyline here? But I truly did think that this would be one of the worst teams, and we're still within the first month of football. I feel like we don't really know for sure what the league is going to look like until we get to Halloween. But to start off 3-0, regardless of who you play, you still have to beat the teams that you play, even if they're dumpster teams. And they've come out of there 3-0. And I think even if they would have lost that Broncos game and been 2-1, and the Texans were 1-2 or still 0-3, like I probably would have still said, wow, it's more surprising that the Colts are 2-1 than the Texans are 0-3, because I thought they were going to be that bad. I am very shocked by the Texans being 0-3. I did not see that coming. But the Colts, I got to give them props. Now, not to get too far ahead of myself here, I think they're going to be a 3-1 team by the time we do our next podcast. But Colts, I think, is the most surprising one for me.
Grant, we have an opportunity to throw one more thing in the mix. Are we surprised that the Ravens are 1-2 because that game just ended?
I was going to say I have it up on the second monitor here, and it just ended, so I didn't know if we wanted to include
Lions
that.
Finished it out on the road. Did not think that was coming. That's
also real
17
quick,
points in the fourth quarter.
How do we not put that in our pick'em?
Because we watched the Lions lose one game in particular, and we were like, "Oh, that was pretty bad." And so we thought, for what everybody else thought, because all the money was on the Ravens tonight.
Yep.
That was a little shocker. Just reacting to that, though, Grant. I know we've talked already about the Texans a little bit. Do you feel? Are you on the other side of that? Like the Texans offense?
For the sake of the conversation, yes. I do think that them being this bad is shocking, because CJ Stroud against the Jaguars, who are not that good, they're not that good on defense. They're not. And by the way, that was my spiritual Zach, and that worked. I went 5-0 and picked him.
Dang it. I know. You gained a game back on me.
Yep. But he went 25 for 38, 204 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and 1 at the end of the game to seal it.
Yep.
Like,
it was bad.
That offensive, Jameson, you talked about last week, that offensive line is abysmal. It's so bad.
Yes.
But at the same time,
remember, they did let go of their left tackle in the offseason.
Yes. But at the same time, we have still seen good quarterback play in spite of terrible O-line play. Like, I know we're gonna make fun of this guy a little bit later towards the end of the show, but Russell Wilson played against a terrible O-line, awful O-line, like get the most sacked quarterback like every year, but yet was throwing up MVP numbers. Like, he still did. He was throwing up these stats.
And I mean, his mobility was a huge factor in that, but also Stroud is one heck of an escape artist and not a small human being.
But still, like, you throw a pick at the end of the game to seal it and give the Jaguars the win, and like that was just a bad read. It was just a bad read. Like that wasn't like the pocket was clean enough for that throw, and that was inexcusable.
Yeah, if you look at the Jaguars ended up with pulled 3 turnovers from the Texans in this game. They didn't really move the ball well at all. If you look at the numbers, the Jaguars had more penalties in this game, like far more. Their yards per play was just slightly under what the Texans was.
Yeah.
So and I think from a passing standpoint, the yardage was actually very similar between the two of them. I think they had the same record or conversions on third downs, and I think
it was
they
a
had
pedestrian
couple more
effort.
first downs, but it was just field position. That's how they won that game. It's field position because you're giving the ball away 3 times to the Jaguars, 1 in this game, and every head coach ever has said the same thing. Who wins the turnover battle usually wins the game, and that's 82% true in the NFL.
It doesn't
turnover
matter.
Battle goes to the winner.
It doesn't matter if you're the worst team and you're abysmal. If you get more turnovers, that's more chances to score points.
And Stroud seems to be taking some unnecessary shots downfield, and
he's trying to provide that spark. Like that's what it is. It's because they're behind. He's trying. He's forcing stuff, and like when you're in a position when you're forcing stuff, like that's never good.
I totally agree. And the issue for me, really clearly, this is not a knock on Nick Chubb as much as it is the trust I think that Stroud has in Joe Mixon. With Joe Mixon not being there right now is a big deal. Obviously, the offensive line play is bad. But when you have a premier guy who's been so healthy and doing a great job next to Stroud, picks up that blitz for you, there's just a confidence that you have in that running back. And Chubb's coming off a horrible injury. We all know that. But his yards per carry is not what it needs to be for this team to be successful. That offensive line's not there. But I think Joe Mixon not being there is really genuinely a huge deal. I think that is hurting this offense quite a bit. Also, not having your left tackles there that you had past 2 seasons, not having that is a very big deal. It's the most important position outside of quarterback on the offense, for sure. For sure. And it's the top 3 most important position in football. You'd put defensive end right up there with left tackle and quarterback.
Yeah.
Quarterback clearly being right over those 2. But there's a lot that's just not the same. Those are 2 things that he was used to that are not there. But, man, I cannot believe how bad they've been. I'd actually have to go with the 0-3 Texans. If you told me that was going to happen, I would have laughed you out of the room.
I was going to say real quick here, and I want to quiz you guys on this, see if you can maybe guess about where these numbers are. I think the Colts is a little bit more surprising to me being 3-0. However, I'm looking at the offensive stats here for both of these teams, and this is probably the most surprising thing to me. How many points per game do you think Houston is scoring right now?
Oh, crap. I know this.
2 touchdowns worth?
Is
it less than that? Is it less than that?
It's 13.
Like 12
yeah,
13?
12.7 points per game. Guess how many points Indianapolis is scoring per game?
24, 25?
I know.
Matt
is 33.
34. So
okay, 33.3. They're at 100 points in 3 games.
34.3. Technically,
are they just over 100?
Yeah, 103 points per game, or 103 points scored so far.
Yeah.
So
34 points a game, though, dude.
The gap between Indy's scoring output per game and Houston's scoring output per game is basically like double what Houston scores per game. Like the difference.
Dude, we're talking a 21-point differential there.
Yeah,
that's
and
wild.
Houston scores about 13 points a game. So like almost double their points is the difference between how much they score and how much. Now again, the teams that Indy has played, except for the Broncos,
one of those was against the Broncos.
Matter at that point. 12.7 points per game. That's worse than Atlanta, who just got skunked. So their average is way down. That's worse than Cleveland, who doesn't score and just plays defense.
Scored Houston's average to win a game this week.
That is 3 points fewer than New Orleans and 4 points fewer than Tennessee.
Wow.
And the Saints one is only up because they scored in garbage time at the end of that game. Like they had no touchdowns until the fourth quarter.
They are also, for what it's worth, they are the 4th worst in total yards per game at just under 270. And only Pittsburgh, Tennessee, and Cincinnati are beneath them right now.
And those make sense.
Cincinnati doesn't have a quarterback. and Tennessee has a rookie with a terrible roster, and Pittsburgh, we talked ad nauseum about
Pittsburgh
the
doesn't have
Steelers
much of a
offense.
quarterback either. I'll say that out loud.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But yeah, so I think that is maybe more surprising to me than both of the 3-0 and 3 things, just like looking at the raw numbers and seeing just how bad they are. Because you can be 0 and 3 and just have a rough start to your season, but be in the middle of the pack. There's nothing here that tells me, offensively at least, that this is a team that's going to have a chance to do anything.
No, dude,
so
you
that's
have
really
to win
surprising to
2
me.
of those games. Seriously, to be like a legitimate contender, even in a bad division that they're in, you have to win 2 of those games. That's just inexcusable as far as decent teams in the NFL go. That's awful.
Yeah. Because every team is going to go 5-5. It's those other 7 that matter, right?
Yeah.
It's like 100%. And here's the part that I'll add to this as we move on. Talking about surprises, right? Daniel Jones leads the league in QBR right now, guys, at 86 points. Daniel freaking Jones. He's 3rd with yards, and he's got 6 total touchdowns and no picks.
No picks.
He has not made a bad decision. This guy is notorious for his bad decisions. But honestly, guys, I'm starting to think that there is something in the air in that stadium, at MetLife Stadium with the Giants. Saquon Barkley leaves and does what he does. You've got, what's his face, that safety that led the league in interceptions last year. That came from the Giants. McKinney or McKinstry, one of the two. Yeah, that guy. He led the leagues in picks last year with the Packers. And then Daniel Jones is out here playing like a first-round pick quarterback right now at the moment.
And for what it's worth, before we move on from the Colts, Jonathan Taylor, to me right now, is the early surefire offensive player of the year. Dude is averaging 112 yards a game, 3 touchdowns already. Just absolutely. The second closest person to him is 50 yards behind him in rushing already. So it's all clustered up there in the middle. And then he's just, did you guys see that run he had, that big run he pulled off the other day? Oh my goodness. I was like, this is prime Jay Taylor. He's back.
The Colts are just full of great stats. We'll drop one more just so we can throw this into the clip. Daniel Jones, 3 wins, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, no turnovers. Like that's awesome. This team, though, scoring over 100 points and winning its first 3 games, it is the first time that's ever happened in Colts history. Not just Colts history, actually, the entire NFL. 3-0 in his first 3 games of the season. By the way, the Colts had a pretty good quarterback that played for that team. Never went 3-0 and averaged over 33 a game to start the season. Never happened.
Also,
Daniel
just
Jones
the first
is
time
setting the world on fire.
Yeah, and also just the first time that they've gone 3-0 to start the season since 2009.
Dude.
Which, again, is crazy because you had a pretty good little quarterback pass off at somewhere between the 2009 to now range, where you go from Peyton Manning to Andrew Luck. Neither of those guys since 2009 were doing any sort of 3-0 starting seasons.
2012? 2012.
Yeah, but since 2009, no 3-0 starts, and those were the guys you had at quarterback.
Yeah.
And it's
so
Indiana Jones that comes in and does that.
Indiana Jones revenge tour in 2025 is a real thing. Let's go.
We are getting one of those a year, guys. At this point, we had Geno, we had Sam Darnold, and now we got Daniel Jones.
This is beautiful.
Baker
Mayfield.
Baker.
Who's gonna? I'm seriously.
Baker
who's gonna win it
last
this year?
No, I'm talking about like that revenge, like that. He
yeah.
is a guy like that. That whole thing is just.
I need to see a little bit more still. I
sure.
think to be like Danny Dimes, the guy that I've watched for however many years now at this point, is definitively a guy.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
My words
but it is fun to talk about it. That's for sure. And insane that we're talking about this and having this conversation. So
man.
And again, a real test this week, as we'll get into that later.
Okay. I had to go look and see if the Colts were playing the Giants this year. Now I'm very sad that they're not.
Dang.
That does put a little damper on my day. But no, I know we got more to go to. Go ahead and get us the next one.
This one just real quick, but the Panthers blanked the Falcons 30-0. Penix got benched for Kirk Cousins.
He looked bad. So bad.
I'm not trying to be captive of the moment, but when you're benched for Kirk Cousins, dude.
I think I did see that the Falcons just fired their passing game coordinator today.
Passing game coordinator / wide receiver coach, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. Like, I know that you have dubbed Raheem Morris your sweet prince, as you've used that term before, Jameson. But Bryce Young putting up 30 on you, and you're a defensive guy.
Hey,
Like, that is
we got a Shula now, so I don't.
Okay, that's fair.
attached.
That's fair.
I'm not attached to.
That's fair.
this
That's fair.
anymore.
But I just go, dude. I honestly, I planted my flag as the Falcons to be a team to be bullish on this year. But I don't want to be a captive of the moment. It's week 3. It's one game. But these division games are supposed to be close. Like even when teams are bad, it's supposed to be like what we saw with the Rams, not the Rams, with the Cardinals and Niners, like these gritty, like whatever, and like the Panthers just spanked them, dude.
And like you also can't afford to lose a division matchup like that when you also have to compete with the Bucks, who I don't know if you guys have already talked about the Bucks and how 3 straight game-winning drives, that's not really a sustainable way of winning. They're dealing with some injuries, but ultimately, like, you're gonna have to play catch up to a team like the Bucks. And if you're losing those divisional games to the Panthers of all teams, like that's going to be pretty problematic because you're going to need every one of those you can just to keep pace with the Bucks, because I think that's your only way into the playoffs. If you're a Falcons fan, winning 100%. That division. You're not going to get a second playoff spot out of there. So that's a tough look. And I mean, getting blanked is like the worst part of that whole thing.
In the NFL,
period.
Like in the NFL, it just shouldn't happen. We were just talking about earlier special teams, like the field position. This is the closest on average that teams have ever started to the 50-yard line in the history of the NFL through 3 weeks of this season. So like the fact that you can't get 15 to 20 yards and kick a long field goal, which I will say they did miss 2 makeable field goals this week.
I don't think they got past the 30-yard line.
No, they did not.
Something that I saw in that game, which is, again, in the modern NFL with that starting field position, that's move the sticks a couple of times and you're right there.
And they started past the 35, I believe, at least 3 times.
Yeah.
Brutal.
At least. So you're not moving the ball 35 yards at all in a series without turning the ball over. That's bad football.
Yeah,
like,
but Penix finished at 50% completion percentage, 172 yards, 2 interceptions. One of those was that pick 6. Like, yeah, and this is a Panthers, like this Panthers defense was terrible last year. Like worst of the worst in every single way. Yeah. And against a pretty star-studded offense for the Falcons. They're probably pretty happy about that. They're feeling good. Holy cow. Yeah, this was the largest win the Panthers have had since week 14 of 2015. So 10 years. They have not had a win like this. Wow. So that's embarrassing.
I mean, that's since Cam Newton was your quarterback.
No, that is the Super Bowl run.
Oh, yeah.
That 2015.
Yeah, that's MVP Cam, yeah.
Yeah. So Panthers feeling good. Falcons, that is probably the worst. I think it's the worst loss of the week for sure. That's why I want to highlight it. That's the worst loss.
Yeah, if you're a Falcons fan, I don't know why you'd be watching this podcast, but if you're a Falcons fan, you should definitely just sit on the Game Time app for the next couple weeks and maybe snag some tickets if you want to go take the kids. If you've been like, those tickets are expensive, I don't want to take the whole family. Yeah. It's about the right time. Just sit on the Game Time app. They're not sponsoring us or anything. They're just an awesome app to buy tickets off of. You can get some really good last-minute deals, and they include all the fees. Just a heads up to everybody watching this.
This out. No free promo here.
No free promo. By the way, big fan of these ice caffeine drinks. Big fan. But you should definitely take the family out and be hitting up a game here real soon because you're gonna have lots of opportunity because your team sucks.
Yeah, you can go see them. I want to get you a quarterback to go see a movie in the movie theater these days.
Yeah.
So that's embarrassing. But what's also embarrassing?
We're about to get to because there's another quarterback that we already know is not good. Like we understood last year that rookie season's a rookie season. Yeah, but watched him play and we're like, that doesn't look right. But the Dallas Cowboys decide to be real nice this week and allow Caleb Williams to have the best game of his young career. 19 for 28, 2 yards under 300, and 4 touchdowns, one on a horribly blown coverage. Rome Odunze walking that one in. It was a tragedy what occurred this weekend on a football field.
Not for us. What are you talking about?
For the Cowboys. It was great to watch the highlights. I'm not watching that trash football, but like genuinely 31 points. The Cowboys gave up 31 points. I don't know if we can just get a big blinking neon sign that I can hang up behind me that says "I told you," but this would be a great time for me to have one. I think Amazon needs to be kind and sponsor me with one of those.
Jeff Bezos,
I'm just going to keep
hit us
shouting
up.
out sponsorships.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I told you last week, worst defense in the NFL. This team sucks. We've already said it today in this episode, but we need to reiterate it. Hey, you need to hear it. If you're a Cowboys fan, go watch something else. Get into Dancing with the Stars. Fall in love with something. Seriously, fall in love with something on the Bravo network. I don't know. Do anything.
I mean,
anything else but watch Sunday football because your life sucks right now.
Here's the thing. Go watch like The Masked Singer. There might be a Cowboys player hiding there, and then the Cowboys might win something. Maybe they could win.
That's the only way. That's the only way.
They got scored on by the most Looney Tunes flea flicker I've ever seen.
It was so bad.
Where he like threw it backwards and like float. It's like boing, and he like, and then he just lobbed it. I was like, how are that thing was like in the air for 2 to 5 business days.
Yeah, no, it was insane, and they're historical. Matt, I think you even said it. They're historical. Yeah. According to ESPN, the Cowboys have allowed the most completions and passing touchdowns of 25 yards or more through 3 games in the past 45 years, dude.
That defense is a kingmaker.
Yes,
for quarterbacks.
Okay, new tactic. Instead of taking flyers on kickers every week in fantasy, just go grab whoever the Cowboys are playing at quarterback, and you'll get 30 points.
Dude, just go to their skill positions and load up.
Yeah.
Wandale Robinson, next time the Giants are playing the Cowboys, load up. That dude scored twice and had 100 yards on him.
Throw him in your flex spot. Throw him in your flex spot.
Now, I do want to say this while we're on the point of the Cowboys, and especially after this Monday night game just ended. If you had to take a guess where the Cowboys rank just league-wide in, let's start with like yards per game, where do you think they are?
Offensively or defensively?
Defensively, like yards allowed.
I believe that they are 30th or 31st.
They are 30th. And 31st is the New York Giants. 397 and 405 respectively. Last place right now is actually the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know if that's something we need to talk about. They're allowing 415 yards per game right now. And
I was going to guess Saints.
They just allowed like another 200-something rush yards tonight. It was like 220 rush yards to 80.
They don't have a defensive wizard anymore. He's playing over in the Pacific Northwest. And the stats show that defense is not as good.
Yeah,
since he's left. Last year,
while we're on the subject of really bad defenses that right now are kingmakers, I don't believe the Baltimore defense is worse than the Dallas Cowboys defense by any means. They've just played the Lions offense and the Bills offense, but not a great look.
No.
Especially when the other offense you played were the Browns, which don't do anything offensively. So basically between two competent offenses, you've allowed 400 yards a game. Not great.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Cowboys are like, they don't even have the Giants, at least they're down there, but you can look at guys on that team like, okay, yeah, they got some dudes and they'll figure it out. They're a young defense. Dallas, there's just no hope at all for that defense. And you don't necessarily play in a great division or a great conference, really, just overall for guys who can light you up.
Yeah, and Trevon Diggs went down, left the game, and so did Kenny Clark.
Diggs going down could low-key be a blessing in disguise. That dude is
that guy sets records.
He sure does.
Yeah.
He sure does.
Yeah. By the way, I take a wild guess. While we're on it, we'll move on. But how many rushing touchdowns have the Ravens allowed so far in 3 games?
I'm not looking. I would guess probably right now they've allowed 5 or 6.
Grant?
Probably that.
7.
Wow.
6.
4
7.
tonight, 3 in their week 1 contest against Buffalo.
Wow.
Yeah. Josh Allen got 2 in that game, if you guys remember in the opener. Yeah.
Gibbs and Mangold had 2 apiece tonight.
And that's a team that added what we thought was going to be a big help at corner.
Yeah.
Gave $25 million a year to a certain safety.
That's deserved. Kyle Hampton's.
He's very good. Not taking away anything from him. And
best safety in the league right
now. I'm terrified of that guy. But no, I totally. They've got a lot of studs out there. That is not a team that doesn't have guys. Roquan Smith is.
Yeah.
People would say. I'm going to go full Trump on that one. A lot of people would say he's one of the best. No, he is like
top 3.
A lot of people would say he's number 2. after Warner in the league
Yeah.
right now at mid linebacker. But man, you just can't have that stuff hanging on you. That defensive line's got to figure it out. That scheme's got to get better. Dude, you can't give up 7 touchdowns every 3 games on the ground in the NFL and be any kind of winning team. So genuinely surprised they lost this game. Thought they'd bounce back here, figure a few things out. Maybe they had a get-right game against the Browns last week, so that was a little bit of a surprise. They lost this game tonight, but man, they have got to right that ship, especially if they want to take hold of that division. Steelers for right now, 2-1. Running quickly through that game. The New England Patriots would like to win football games, so I have an idea. They should stop turning the ball over 5 freaking times.
Yeah,
This is
Ramondre
so-
Stevenson, count your days, buddy.
Yeah.
Why is
no
he
kidding.
Why is he still getting touches, dude? He was
Well,
benched.
because the week before he did pretty good.
I
He
understand
did
that.
pretty good. Now,
I understand that, but
Vrabel's
just
a
like,
great coach. If Belichick was coaching this team, he wouldn't have had a last
be
week to
flipping-
make up for
bro,
it after
yeah,
week 1.
he'd be flipping burgers at McDonald's right now.
Yeah.
That's what he'd be doing.
Dude, there's no way they don't move through this week and say, "Hey, Trayvon, we're gonna do some split carries here." He's gonna get his shot.
He should have
Got
to start
to
the season, to
get
be
up
honest.
front.
They should have given the shot to get more carries at the start. Like, you drafted him high. Just like teams right now that are just doing this, oh, we're going to let the other guys. I'm like, why? Why?
He was
You can't
electric
do that
in the
because
preseason.
genuinely, the Steelers did not have much of an offense at all this week. And I'm not gonna say the word inept, but like I'm a Jalen Warren fantasy owner. He's been super solid for me. Did just fine. Got me what I needed this week. But I'm watching that offensive line not get a push against the Patriots, who they don't have anything elite, but field position, as we stated earlier, matters. And the Steelers were able to get it in droves with stinking turnovers this week. And for those of you who didn't hear what those said or it didn't get said, Stevenson putting 2 on the ground, total of 3 fumbles, 2 interceptions this game. Dude, take care of the ball. That is just bad. I might have that wrong. It might be 4 fumbles and 1 interception. My bad. But that one, jeez. Going back to Baltimore, they want to win this division. You got to figure it out on stopping the run. You got to make a move. You got to do something. Something's got to change. That is wild to have 2 games in your first 3 where you gave up 200 yards rushing. We have not been able to say that about a Baltimore Ravens team in years. And we were super hyped on this team coming in. We figured this was reload and go. There's nothing keeping you from being awesome in that division, in my opinion.
I'm definitely not going to come out here and say that Derrick Henry is washed because I don't believe that for 1 second. But he did have another crucial fumble tonight in this game when they were down, I think 4, and they were either in the red zone or within the 30. Gets another peanut punch and turns the ball over. 12 carries for 50 yards tonight. That includes a 28-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, and the week
What's
before,
that? 11 carries for 32 yards after that.
Ooh.
Not great.
and last week, only 11 carries for 23 yards. Last week.
Yeah,
Baltimore only having 85 rushing yards, period, is, an anomaly almost. But
it's honestly though, I feel like I need to go back and watch these games because what's the scheme? What's holding them from being an offensive juggernaut?
Carr got sacked 7 times for 55 yards lost.
Well,
so
okay,
that
I
was
don't
a
need to
big
watch
part of
it. That tells the story. Fair.
Yeah, there were lots of pressure from Detroit. That Baltimore offensive line not looking good. By the way, Jared Goff, no sacks. Didn't get sacked tonight. So it was a 7-sack differential for half of the football field.
That's
and Lamar played great too.
Again.
That is again
in the passing
how
game, 21 for 27, 288 and 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. So that
is
part was still going, but
Yep.
Mark Andrews was their leading guy tonight.
That is exactly what we've seen from the Detroit Lions the past year and a half, 2 years.
Mhm.
That type of stat line from Goff is like exactly we've seen. So maybe
that
maybe
was
figuring it out.
Lamar. That was Lamar talking about their passing game didn't struggle. Everything else did. Jared Goff 20 for 28, 202 yards, a touchdown because they ran for 4 touchdowns. So he was still money doing what he needed to do, but didn't get sacked at all. And Lamar got sacked 7 times, which doesn't happen.
Speaking of bad offensive lines, we're gonna talk about 2 things, and then we're gonna get to our pick'em. The Las Vegas Raiders might have the worst offensive line on planet Earth and ever in the history of the NFL. They are on pace right now to break the single season record in a bad way for the most sacks surrendered because Geno is getting less than 2.2 seconds to think thoughts in his brain before he has to dodge a defensive end, tackle, or blitzing linebacker and or member of the secondary. It is so bad that Geno this week goes over on throws over 10 yards. He did not complete a pass 10 yards down the field and surrenders 3 picks in this game. One, honestly, not his fault, but that team looked so bad. And I'm not saying that the Commanders aren't great on defense. They clearly are. Commanders look really solid on defense, super deep defensive line. And we know who's holding down the middle of that linebacker crew. There's a lot of pressure coming in all the time. But that team sucks. And if you're watching, by the way, this stat today was wild. Okay, I heard this one in the office today, and I told him I'm sharing this. Ashton Jeanty has been hit at or behind the line of scrimmage 57% of the time. 27 of 47 carries, he has been hit at or behind the line of scrimmage. On Sunday versus the Commanders, he was hit at or behind the line on 11 of his 17 rushes. So he's got 144 yards in 3 games on 47 carries, just a 3.1. And that went up this week, by the way, from 2.7 after 2. Yeah. And just 1 touchdown because that offensive line is inept.
So bad.
I understand, like, you got to do something, but I want to blame this on one specific individual. I loved for a season of my life this man. He went to go work for the enemy, so I hate his guts for that. But Chip Kelly has got to figure it the crud out. You have Brock Bowers on this team, and you're not using him. He got Michael Mayer killed this last week. Bro's probably not playing for a while. And genuinely, you're giving your quarterback no time to think at all. And then you go draft a running back at number 6, and this dude is getting hit behind the line of scrimmage or at it 57% of the time. This is Chip Kelly's bad, 100%. He walked into the year looking at that offensive line and went, this is good. I'm good with this. I know the scheme that I'm going to run with this, and we're going to be successful. You suck at moving the ball right now. Like, they have got to do something. This is not on Geno. This is not on a rookie running back. And it's certainly not on an all-pro tight end in his second year who looked phenomenal last season. Get it figured out. That is really bad.
I will say this real quick before we move on from the Raiders. There is part of me that kind of questions, and again, it's the week 3, like, very small rear view window that we have here. But fair. Like, drafting Ashton Jeanty at number 6 when you have so many talented offensive linemen still available.
So many,
to draft, I think we might look back at that and maybe not view that so kindly. We, at the moment, and still even now, it's okay, that is a Pete Carroll draft pick. You got a workhorse running back that you can just turn around and hand the ball off to, and you love that.
And you needed it. Like, they had nobody at running back. Yeah, like, it was a need as well.
But the reality is also, like, you run the risk of putting the cart before the horse there. And when you don't have anybody to block, 1 for your quarterback and 2 for your running back, now your running game and your passing game struggle. And at that point, what's the point of having the Ferrari in the garage? You know what I mean? If you're not going to have any way to get it out.
Because remember,
so that's tough.
The Lions went and got Jared Goff. Okay, they traded a superstar in Matthew Stafford. They go get Jared Goff, serviceable, solid quarterback that's done nothing but be consistent in his position. And then they went and did and doubled down on it. The thing that so many teams view as just it's a bad business decision, honestly.
It's not going to sell jerseys. It's not going to put butts in seats.
It's not, because Penei Sewell is not a name that's going to light up the box office. It's just not. But when you saw those guys lose their mind celebrating the fact that, by the way, the Cincinnati Bengals didn't draft Penei Sewell, and you knew, and the Lions knew what they locked up for years to come, and then they go out and get a guy that the Bears basically threw away in David Montgomery, pair him up with this other dude, because they went and did it the right way. They went and got the offensive line first. Then they went and got Gibbs. Laporta. Yep. Then they went and got Gibbs. And honestly, have built a powerhouse on offense. We questioned, was it Ben Johnson, or did they really make all the right personnel moves? After watching what happened tonight in these first 3 weeks, I know they have the one loss, and we were like, oh no, but it was the Packers, and we know what they are so far. The Lions are proving just one more time to all of us that they know how to make good decisions, and that this new regime truly can be trusted.
Yeah. And bad teams do not make those decisions, and that's how we end up with
Ashton Genty getting hit behind the line 57% of the time.
And Joe Burrow on Joe Burrow on his like
getting
12th
injured.
injury.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
I am terrified. Going back to that for a second, Joe Burrow is going to turn into Andrew Luck, and I'm terrified about that.
Oh, that would suck.
Like
you don't want to see that twice.
No, like I don't like. But holy cow! Like right now too, are you telling me that they would much rather have an upright Joe Burrow, Penei Sewell, and throwing to T Higgins as opposed to Jamar Chase and T Higgins?
Joe Burrow showing up to games in Batmobiles is what I want to see for the next 10 years. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. I love that guy playing football, love the throws that he makes, and love watching him just collect LSU wide receivers that he can throw the ball to. Like, genuinely keep doing it, but keep him upright. We're going to preach that forever. We've been saying it the entire time this podcast has existed. Said it last week. I'll just keep reiterating the same crap every single week, and hopefully one time one of these reels just gets through to somebody's brain.
It hits the algorithm.
The algorithm just hits anybody in that front office because we're all saying the same thing. Figure it out. Your front five are literally the foundation of your team.
Look at the Texans. Look at the Texans.
Bingo.
Another exact same thing.
Team to 0-3. It's not, we said it, and this is the third time now on this podcast, City Grant. It's not sexy, but it's the right thing to do. Get it done. I want to hit one more before we get to pick them because, Grant, I'm just going to let you read it. It is the funniest thing, I think, that happened all weekend, other than the Cowboys getting massacred. That was funny. But, Grant, tell us exactly what happened at the end of this Sunday night football spectacular. Who, by the way, is scheduling this garbage on Sunday night?
I don't care that the Chiefs are like the team or whatever, but you don't pit them against a terrible team. Oh, but guys, we saw the worst 4 plays.
This is so good.
I'm not saying this out of hyperbole or because I'm reading off a meme here. This is, in my opinion, my genuine opinion, the worst 4 plays I have ever seen a quarterback make ever. Worst 4-play sequence ever. Russell Wilson marching down the field to try and score. It would have been garbage time anyway. They were down by 2 scores with 2.5 minutes left. But Russell Wilson gets an intentional grounding. He throws the ball into the tunnel. The ball is trying to leave the field because of how bad what the Giants are doing on the field. The ball is trying to get it. He throws it into the tunnel that you run out of. He does that. Then, I don't know if this was Brian Dable play call or a rest play call, but a quarterback draw? What?
He can't throw the ball.
They were getting booed as soon as that happened, by the way. I don't know if you guys had the audio on that one.
I got to watch the end of this game, and this is what I got to watch. A quarterback draw for 4 yards. Then he sails the ball on 3rd down out of the back of the end zone. Just completely sails it out of the back of the end zone to nobody. A fan got a souvenir. They're happy about it, maybe. And then he decides to play soccer. He gets football mixed up and hits a crossbar on 4th and goal. Hits the goalpost. Crossbars it on the 4th down play.
By the way, nobody's catching the ball up there, just for the record.
Or the tunnel, or in the stands.
Neighbors is not that tall.
No.
Robinson's not that tall. They don't have a 6'8" looking Gronk, somebody like that to go up and get it. Darren Waller doesn't play on this team anymore.
But that is legitimately the worst 4 plays I've ever seen.
Oh, dude. It was bad.
So
you guys remember in high school, they had in the science classes those little eye washing stations if you got chemicals in your eyes.
That's what that was.
Yeah, when I saw those 4 plays, I got up and walked over to the sink and did one of these things in the sink and had to rinse my eyes out.
Oh my god.
It's so bad.
And
then Chris Jones comes out here and I was trying to get a Russ jersey for years, and then he's like, never mind, I don't want one. Dude. So stinking bad.
It was really bad to watch. But honestly, super fun for those of us who are not big fans of Russ in general. We are all about the Jackson Dart experience. We want to see it. Or give me Jameis. Anything is better than Russ. He said that at the beginning. Jackson Dart looked really good in the preseason. And I understand the thought of save him till we can actually win games. I do understand that's a real thing. And that may be the Giants knowing what they are. But if you're not going to let Jameis go play for the freaking Bengals and you're holding him hostage for whatever you are, then please, for the love of all things, let Jackson Dart on the field because Russ sucks. The only team he's going to put up numbers against this year is the Cowboys. And he did.
Yeah. Even if you're just going with the unknown of Jackson Dart, like the unknown of that is better than the known of Russ right now.
Yes. And how we know that is if Jackson Dart had run the ball on that quarterback draw, it would have been I'm not saying it would have been a success, but people wouldn't have booed when you're throwing up. I'm throwing out a guy in his late 30s on a draw. Seriously. Like in that situation, horrible. Because also when he doesn't score, it's time off the clock and you're trying to come back from a 2-score deficit and leave yourself something to do. That's just
may as well
bad
just
football.
Taking a knee.
I was baffled at the quarterback draw. That's the worst part of it. Yeah, the throws are terrible and hilarious, but the play call, I don't know if it was Dable or Wilson.
I gotta say, it can't be Dable because Dable didn't lose his collective mind like he usually does when one of his players screws up. Like he wasn't over there screaming, throwing stuff on the ground. And he will, in general, when his guys go against anything that he wants or how he feels something should have gone. He's a pretty emotional coach. So he didn't do it. So that led me to believe that was his play call, which is insane. But it was surprising. I'll give him that.
It was
surprising.
It was one of the sequences of all time.
Yeah, it was a play call that someone made once. Now we got to get into pick'em. We are cooking, by the way, guys. We're pretty good at this. Okay,
again,
like everybody right now is doing just fine.
I should actually say bet and then try to make money off it.
You're really just sabotaging me on purpose here, though, in the pick'ems.
Yes. I'm not. Okay,
next couple weeks.
These are the best games.
This last week and it worked perfectly.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I did. I know you saw that, but I baited him into this when it was just me and him last week.
Okay, but the Eagles Rams, that's got to be in the pick'em.
It needed to be there, but it was the way.
I wasn't here to get my Rams stuff off, by the way. The Rams should have won that game.
Look,
anyways, I digress.
If you guys have not figured this out, I am all about emotionally manipulating you when we do pick'em. Like I know that you both say, "Oh, I'm not susceptible," but I've made it happen more than once, guys. Okay.
Ooh, okay, Emperor Palpatine. Ooh. Anyway,
Jamison right now is in 4th place at 10-5. Not that's a bad spot because we're all pretty close. Mike and Grant are at 11-4. Grant gained a game on me this week because he was 5-0, went undefeated.
That Jaguars pick, baby.
I am at 12-3 at my 4-1 this last week, so feeling pretty solid. We're gonna get through these here pretty quick. We'll post up with Mike's pick. Genuine prayers up for his family today. His daughter's getting the surgery. Nothing crazy, but just something his newborn had to go have done. And she should be at home resting here by the time this airs. But he's not with us tonight, so we'll get his picks later. But we wanted to start with the dumpster fire of all dumpster fires this weekend, and that is the Jets playing at the Dolphins. There's actually a few in consideration. Grant and I had to debate which dumpster fire we were going to put up on the board, but we feel like this one could have some zigs and zags. So we're going to start with Jamison on this one. Jets at Dolphins. I don't even know if the at part matters at this point.
No, I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to go with my immediate gut when I see this. I'm picking the Jets, baby. Jets. Jets. Tua, said it a million times. He's got the crockpot cranium. We're not putting any money on Tua turn the ball over at any point, at any time. Yeah, and plus, genuinely, like the Jets played a pretty darn good game against the Bucs this last week, for what that's worth. At least a close enough game.
Yep.
Yeah,
special teams.
But anyway, I still think that Jets defense is probably the best unit in this game. And yeah, I don't think the at Dolphins. Really? At Dolphins? Does that mean anything to anybody? Yeah, I'm going Jets here.
Grant.
I'm sticking with it. My take here, I'm going to embrace being just a Dolphins hater this year since I had them in my preview. They're trash. They're garbage. Maybe 2 more weeks of Mike McDaniel? Maybe.
We were looking around week 5. It was stated aloud on this podcast, and if you're a 49er fan, you've been watching the memes rather closely about Shanahan trying to hire him away as soon as he gets fired. But yeah, and you're hearing players and ex-players right now talk about the lack of discipline on this team week to week and how he only gets mad about people not showing up to practice or meetings or whatever when they're losing. Just seems undisciplined in there. It's coming out. That's not good.
And then there was they're trying to salvage it, being like the lock. Like on Thursday night, this pack, the locker is tighter than ever right now. dude, come on. That's just you. That is coach speak.
Tyreek
That's
Hill's in
jargon.
the locker room. It's not tighter than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Jets. I'm taking Justin Fields over Tua at this point. I'm taking.
Is he playing or is Tyrod?
Oh, I don't know. I forgot
Either
about
way, it
that.
doesn't matter.
I don't care. Jets.
Yeah. Doesn't
I'm with that. I'm going Jets too. Let's go for the sweep.
Yep.
We'll see what Mike says. He might zag on this one. I could see.
The Dolphins could win it.
Dolphins played closer to the Bills than I thought. We maybe
Yeah.
imagined they would have, but it was a classic.
But
Tua
did you
moment.
see that play? Did you see
Hey,
that play of Tua just like running backwards, running away from nobody? Like his brain is causing him to see things.
They're going to send a corner blitz at least once or twice this week on him, and that's not going to be pretty. So just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
By the way, I do have to say, in regards to the Dolphins this week, I forgot to put this on the rundown, but they actually hosed themselves in this game. They were about to get the ball back with the tied 21-21, and I'm going to forget his name now. Dang it. Defensive line captain comes through and hits the punter.
Yep.
And
Gets
him a first down, and that literally was turning point in the game. Josh Allen was like, "Thank you, sir. I will not mess this opportunity up." Yep. They score, put points on the board, and that was it. They walked away with it after that, scored 10 straight, and held them in their next possessions. That's actually, it was a good game until that play. That's really what did determine it. Let's go to the next one here. We've got the Eagles at the Bucks. I love this game. This one's going to be hard to pick, so we're starting with Grant.
Baker Mayfield, baby.
What?
Baker Mayfield,
Mayfield,
baby. Baker Mayfield, dude. Let's go, dude. He's awesome. I'm loving it.
Rams legend.
Yeah, Rams legend number 17. Yeah, I'm going Bucks. They're at home. The Eagles kind of won a Mickey Mouse game a little bit there. And the Bucks just haven't given me any reason to be concerned. Not really.
That fourth quarter didn't give you a little bit of pause?
Mike Evans, hammy.
That doesn't give you a little bit of pause? By the way, 7 straight years Mike has had a hamstring injury. 7 straight years.
I'm going the Bucks.
We'll take a few weeks off. He'll come back, hopefully get 1,000 yards, and then
So that's all he does.
Yeah.
10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards.
I'm taking the better quarterback right now is what I'm doing.
Respect.
I'm taking the better quarterback.
Respect.
The take. All right. You got Bucks. Jamison?
I really wanted to take the Bucks as well, but seeing Mike Evans go out does give me like a little bit of pause there.
It's okay. Tez Johnson's going to show up. It's going to be Ibuka and Tez Johnson, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles as probably the biggest Eagles hater on this show, only because after watching them again for a full game this last week, all the concerns that I had about the Eagles showed themselves still throughout the entire first half. But then when they were down and they're like, oh yeah, we can just throw the ball to AJ Brown, who is like as big as DK, but just better at catching and route running.
That play's awesome.
And everything. So they're just going to post him up on guys when they need to. I think this is finally going to be, hopefully you got Vita Vea in there, but Saquon hasn't had a game yet, game. So I'm anticipating that. And so Mike Evans being out, you already have some depth issues. I think the Bucks later in the season are going to be maybe a little bit closer to where the Eagles are, but I'm going to pick the Eagles just based on that second half that they played.
I think this game is going to be awesome. I think these two teams are going to come out blazing. There's going to be hard hits. This is going to be absolute anarchy on the field. Nick Sirianni's on the same bit of turf as Baker Mayfield, and those are two emotional men that are going to lose their minds this next week. But here's the thing. Jalen Hurts is the best game manager in the NFL. He has won 18 straight starts in which he finished the game. They're 18-1 in their last 19 games, and I'm including a Super Bowl in that. They're going to win until they're not. The money's on them, period. So I think you can take the spiritual zags and go Bucks, and we love what Baker's doing. But the Eagles just win games, and it doesn't really matter how. Jordan Davis running back a block kick for the second time in that game, them securing Cooper DeJean going off in the first half of the Super Bowl, grabbing that pick and running. It does not matter. Saquon going for 170, whatever. They just win. and it doesn't matter. That's who they are right now. We watched that 2-year run with the Chiefs where it felt the exact same way. It's just Patty's going to do it. Doesn't matter. Right now, the Eagles are just going to get it done, and there's just no going against that until they show us that they're vulnerable. And, dude, they haven't. The only way they're losing this game is if Jalen Hurts goes down. And for all that we want to talk about his quarterback play and say pedestrian numbers, and we did that last week, and we talked about the very real reality of him not hitting receivers downfield. This last week, I watched him hit AJ a couple of times on plays that mattered. And by the way, AJ Brown is still really good at football because he did embarrass the Rams secondary on one play in particular. But honestly, all you got to do is get that ball in their hands, and he's still doing it in exactly the same or the right way when he needs to do it. He's making great plays consistently, and by great plays, third down conversions.
They're the backbreakers.
Executing in the red
Always.
zone. Like, they have one of the best red zone. I think they're number 1 or 2 right now in red zone percentage. That's how you win. They have a great offensive line. I don't know what Lane Johnson's got going on this week, though. I know he did leave that game.
They said it was a stinger, and he's going to be fine.
Okay. So if he's in, I'm in on the Eagles. If those two guys are playing football for them, they're going to win. I'm taking the Eagles for sure. And if you're not, Grant, I understand why you don't want them to win.
I'm wearing a suit. I know what I'm talking
I don't want them to win, obviously.
I understand why you don't want them to win, but I don't understand why you're picking against them right now, other than you just
Baker.
Maybe
Bullish on Baker.
drugs and
I'm going to be
Baker
really
Mayfield.
pissed off if this is another spiritual zag that hits because you're stealing my flow here, and I hate the Eagles, and I'm not even going for it.
I'll tell you, I feel better about this one than I do the Jaguars Texans. I literally did that because I just wanted to.
Jamison, if
This one
you
I
think
believe
there's
more.
a world that we live in where I did not manipulate this guy into picking the Bucks, you're out of your mind.
Get outta
I was
here.
pushing for that the entire episode.
I was
knew
looking
it
at.
was coming.
Shut up.
I knew it was coming.
I was
I
gonna
mean,
do
I know
it
how to
anyway.
set you up.
That's fair because you guys already know where I'm going with this next one.
I know where you're going with the next one. Colts at the Rams. I'm going to go first, though. I'm going to go
Okay.
first. I know that you're going to go Rams bounce back. I 100% know that's where you're going. I'm going Indiana Jones to the end zone. Let's
Wow.
go.
Okay.
Colts on the road, putting the Rams at 2-2. Best offense in the league as of right now. And am I going to be wrong on this one? Totally possible. And I don't really care because I'm manipulating myself into this one. I just love what the Colts are doing right now. And, man, I'm all about it. This is one of my – I genuinely do like the Colts. I have for a long time. I loved watching Peyton Manning throughout his entire career. Loved Andrew Luck. And they have had two of my probably top 4 or 5 favorite wide receivers of all time play for this team, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Waynes. I just love the team, and I love that they're doing well. Shout out to my buddy Todd that watches all the time. I know he has been super pumped at his team's 3-0 run so far. And I don't know, man. There's just something about where the Rams are at. I just think they're gettable right now. They didn't play bad this week. I just think they're gettable right now, and Colts are riding a hot streak. That's all. Jonathan Taylor's also awesome at football. So take it for what it's worth.
Yeah, obviously, I'm going to pick the Rams here
Of course you are.
because I have to, and
Yes, you do.
I have nothing bad to say about the Colts, and I do definitely think that there's a world where like the Colts can get a win here. I still, even if the Colts would win, I would still look at this and say I think the Rams are still a better football team. And again, the reality of the situation is they should have totally beaten the Eagles this last week. And we talk about how the Eagles are this unstoppable force because they are, but really the only team that's given them fits for the past year, basically, since the playoff game and then this game here, is the Rams. And both of those times were in Philly. And so a team, the Colts coming in, the Rams, I'm going to take them. Rams a little banged up, but I still think all things considered, we coached a very conservative second half, had the most improbable field goal luck I've ever had in my entire life. And still it was right there for Matthew Stafford to lead a game-winning drive, which he did exactly what he was supposed to do. And you get 2 field goals blocked in a row.
Fire the long snapper.
Not even that. It's actually
Twice.
Bo Limmer. I don't want to go off on Bo Limmer right now, but
Just
Bo
the block.
Limmer both committed the offensive holding, which he basically tackled that defensive tackle to bring back a touchdown, which turned into a field goal earlier in the game, and then he allowed the second blocked field goal to lose the game. Also, the guy that missed Jalen Carter in the playoffs last year on that last tackle to end that
Okay.
game. Bo Limmer, you're on my list here. But yeah, all things considered, I'm still going to go with the Rams. I'm not going to overreact to the most painful loss that I've had since last playoffs.
Grant.
Yep, I'm sticking with Rams for those reasons. I don't have strong things to say. I don't really care about these teams. Go on Rams.
I apologize to everybody. I do have to run, so we're gonna speed up our last two and get them in. Ravens at Chiefs. Man, I don't know, guys.
Who's going 1-3? Pat Mahomes or the Ravens?
Oh my gosh, that's so hard. This is the hardest one.
Can I go first? Because I have an answer.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
I'm going to pick the Chiefs. We're just going to stick there.
That's
Chiefs at home. Didn't like what I just saw from the Ravens. So I'm going to go Chiefs.
Yep. Okay. Grant.
Yep.
Chiefs?
Yep.
All right.
Don't love it. Don't love it. But
this is one of those times I'm glad I'm going third. I'm just going to stay with you guys because then I don't lose my spot in the pick 'em. I'm playing the percentage.
Playing for keeps?
Here. Yep. That helps me to make up my mind. No assessment on that one. Bears at Raiders. This is also not a good game, but I think it's really hard to pick.
That's why we picked it.
I will go first on this one. I think I'm going to take the Raiders on the bounce back at home. I'm going to take them. Not a lot of deep thought there. They just played the worst, in my opinion. Bears just played the worst defense in the league. Raiders need to get right game here. This just feels like one that Pete Carroll's going to scheme and pull out. So,
Jameson, how about you?
I'm going to take the Bears. Raiders are still allowing almost 25 points a game. Over 350 yards of offense a game is being allowed. Still can't name too many people outside of Max Crosby on that defense. And I feel like they got a little momentum. So I'm gonna go with the Bears here.
I am as well. I like what I've seen a little bit more, even though it was just 1 week. But there's not been a whole lot of even like from the Raiders at all.
Shoot.
So
a little bit of Ben Johnson swagger in that game. I feel like you could stunt on a bad defense, obviously, but there was a little bit of there's some of the like the Lions stuff.
Yeah.
Like when's the last time the Bears were in a flea flicker?
And overall, that Bears offense is more talented. Again, this offensive line's so bad.
Yeah, I will. That's fine. I will be a Raiders fan with the rest of the staff where I work this week and enjoy that. My apologies. We got a book on the end of this episode, but we thank you for joining us for the recap. Be with us this next week as we go through what happens in week 4. There is a lot of crazy stuff, and we're going to get through, when you get through this first, I know there's 17-game season now, but we get through that like first quarter of games, you really start to have an idea of the identity of these teams and where their seasons are headed. But we will remind you, last year, the Saints were 3-0. They were 3-0 through week 3, and we know what happened from that point on. So take it for what it's worth. We're assessing what has happened. We're looking at these teams as they are in this moment, but so much can happen in the next 14 games that these teams are going to play. If your team's not the 49ers, I hope they lose all the games. But we know that there's a lot of football to be played. A lot of crazy stuff's going to happen. Rest up, all of you that got injured this week, man. Genuinely heartbreakers, as we talked about earlier today and a few last week as well. And, man, we just want some healthy football in week 4. So you hope every player comes back healthy this next week, and we just get to see a great NFL season. Go Ducks this week against Penn State. Holy cow. And we're not even going to mention that other game. Don't worry about it, Jameson. No big deal. Much love, everybody. This is Sportsify. We'll see you next time.
See ya.